Hey, college coaches, this is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. We are the providers of the Spotlight podcast, something that we started back when the pandemic hit recruiting cycle and have really had an impact on the class of 21 and 22. We are a small startup company based in Austin, Texas. Our focus is to help student athletes successfully transition from high school to college and then into a career once their eligibility is over, whether it's after an NFL career or their college career. But due to the COVID-19 recruiting cycle they're in right now, we created this podcast to help student athletes who can't be on campus, to give them a voice, to give them a platform to share their recruiting story, to share their stories personally about their families and themselves with college coaches, because they understand how important that is and that they are not just their huddle video. You got to know who they are to see if they're going to be a fit for your program from a chemistry standpoint, from a culture standpoint. So we're excited to have another prospect with us on the podcast today. Before I get into that, I want to first introduce my new co-host, LaRon Haywood, former player here in the Austin area at Vista Ridge High School, former high school and college coach at Angleton High School, and he was the DB coach and the director of recruiting for University Incarnate Word. You'll hear from him here in a minute. But before we get into anything, got to pay the bills. So I want to thank our sponsors that are really starting to pick up and show support of our program. Our first sponsor is a company called Go Edit. They do sports edits, graphic design for players when they commit, when they get offered, when they have a great game. They're a company that's based out of Nebraska, and they've got really easy to use software that you can use online or your iPhone to create these really sizzling graphics. So appreciate Go Edit supporting the Spotlight podcast. Our other sponsor is Buffalo Wild Wings. I love wings like everybody else, and they came on board and said, "Hey, Anthony, we want to do our best to promote Texas high school football and some of the student athletes at 4 different schools: Sidewoods High School in the Sidewoods there in the Cypress area, Katie Taylor, Judson High School, who we're going to hear from one of their starting quarterback here in a second, in Highlands High School." So shout out to Buffalo Wild Wings, who's really trying to make an impact on the community using Texas high school football. And then lastly, our latest and our newest sponsor, Epic. Epic stands for Every Play I Compete. They are a sports apparel company based out of Houston. Good friend of mine, Stefan Johnson, is the owner and CEO. And if you're looking for anything from uniforms to gloves to 7-on-7 uniforms to comfortable fitting masks or hand warmers, Epic is your place to go. And you can visit them on Twitter. Their Twitter handle is IamEpic247. But with all that said, the main reason we are on the show today is to talk about the starting quarterback at Judson High School, Michael Burroughs. He is class of 22 quarterback. He is 6'2", 185 pounds. Really strong GPA of 3.4. He's a football, baseball guy, which I know we'll talk about, and you can see his Twitter handle there. Michael, how are you doing this evening? How was your Thanksgiving?
I'm good. And my Thanksgiving was really good. It was a good opportunity to spend time with my family.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are off to a tremendous run right now at Judson. I know you're first year starter. We're going to get into this, Michael, but I have to say you have anybody that's watched the Judson program the last couple of years. I mean, if they didn't know that Michael Richardson had graduated, you guys kind of have the same build, the same style. Before we get into it, just talk about that. Is there a lot of confusion that people still think that the old Michael is still there and then they don't know who the new one is?
Yeah, it's kind of the same way, but I don't. Let me start that over.
That's fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of people still think that it's still like the same. Dang, I don't even know how to answer that.
That's okay. Well, I mean, you guys have a similar style. You're built the same. You're very long. You're very lean, very athletic. You're running the offense. You've got guys around you distributing the ball. I mean, talk about, as we get into it here, talk about your production as a quarterback with all that talent around you.
Oh, all the talent around me has helped me a lot because it got me more comfortable when playing the position. And since I'm new to it, it's my first year starting, I got a chance to play with really good players, and we're all growing together as a team, which has throughout the season had become a great opportunity and great it's just great for me to see and me being a part of it.
Yeah. We'll get into that here in a second, but LaRon and I and every coach in the country, and Michael, you know this also, the first evaluation that coaches have to do on their prospects. Let's talk about their academics. You can be the greatest quarterback and run 4.5 and throw the ball 90 yards like Patrick Mahomes, but if you don't have the academics to get by school, I can't help you. You got the very strong GPA of 3.4. Look in the camera and tell these coaches about the importance that you put on your academics.
I put a lot of importance on my academics because in my household, like at home, school always comes first. My parents stress that a lot. So when I take my grades really seriously, so I always try to get in AP classes, and I do like the extra tests. I do a lot of extra work just so that I can keep my grades up so that it looks better for me in my future.
Yes, sir.
I like it, man. I like that. That's a great answer. What are some of your favorite classes right now in high school that drive that GPA?
Well, my junior year, I got a chance to take statistics, which I really enjoy. So like that's probably one of my favorite classes. And then I always grew up loving science and like biology and all that. So that's another subject I enjoy learning.
Okay. Well, there's not a student athlete around, and 3 of them on this call right now on this podcast that haven't had success thanks to a teacher, a trainer, a coach, a tutor. Take this time now. Name somebody, either elementary, middle, or high school, that's really had an impact on you from an academic standpoint.
When I was in middle school, when I got a lot of help from one of he wasn't really a teacher. He was like a helper that helped around our school. His name was Mr. Phillips. And so he's always like pushed me to do like better, always stay focused in class and get my hardest no matter what I do. So he's still in my life, like growing up right now. So
that's awesome.
Like he's just been a great role model for me. And he's young like me, and he had kind of like the same career as me growing up, but instead football, he played basketball. So it was just like he took me in as like I was like one of his little brothers. So
I like it, man. I appreciate you shouting him out like that. Give us an idea, Michael, I know you're still kind of 2 years away from college here, but do you have an idea what you might want to major in when you get to the college level?
I was planning on majoring in like biology or in engineering. Those are my top 2 right now.
Okay. Well, you're speaking to a former student athlete that got his degree in engineering. It's possible. It's hard, but you can do it. I have no doubt you can do it also. Another thing that's important that coaches want to understand is your learning style. Would you consider yourself more of a visual, verbal, or hands-on learning style in the classroom?
I like physical and verbal learning. It's way like with this school year, it's kind of been hard because we're online, so we can't go to school. So like I'm more of like in-person kind of guy that likes to get extra help if I need it. So it's like right there. So yeah, I'm more of a physical and verbal.
Does your learning style differ when you get into the football field or in the classroom in your position meetings as the quarterbacks, or is it the same style as the classroom?
It's the same style of the classroom. I had to I wouldn't say I had to like see it in person, but the more detail I get, the more better I understand.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think we've really talked to one athlete that has said a different answer from that. Like, you don't hear many athletes say, I'm a visual learner. You know, a lot of we got to get out there. We got to do it, man. We can't just learn by filming. Extremely important, but I can't just watch this DB on film and not practice what this DB did, or same for a quarterback or a running back. We are all kinesthetic. That's the word. We're all kinesthetic learners, man. Yeah. It's just wild to see that.
Yes, sir.
That's a great point. Michael, tell us, eventually college coaches, NCAA is going to open up and college coaches will get back on campus to look at some of their prospects, hopefully in the spring here. Give these coaches a little bit of a sneak peek. When a coach comes to Judson and sees you and watches you in a classroom, what are they going to see? Where are you sitting? Are you locked into the teacher? What kind of student are you? What kind of body language do you have in the classroom?
Normally I sit close to like my teacher. So if I need help, it's just like right there and I have to walk around the classroom and get distracted or distract other people around me. So like, I like asking questions. I'm very active in the classroom. I raise my hand a lot. I talk to my teacher. And when we get in groups and we do group projects, I'm really active in that. So I try to do as much as I can when it comes to that. I kind of, I wouldn't say like, I'm not focused in the classroom, but I do kind of get sidetracked on some things, but that's just a normal habit. But I mean, besides that, I'm a great student. I like having great relationships with my teachers and the students in our classroom. So, yeah.
No, look, that's a great answer. Go ahead, Laurent.
I was saying honest answer. I mean,
Yeah.
that's perfect. I mean, you say you get distracted. That's just being a high school student. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 29. I still get distracted. So I get it. I just love the honesty, bro. It's just
Yeah.
big.
Michael, let me ask you this. So, and LeBron can attest to this. When you get to college, classes are going to be a little bit harder. And I'm sure there's been a class in high school that maybe you struggled in. Tell us, what do you do when you struggle in class? Do you seek out help, or do you try and figure it out on your own? What is your process to get help in a class that you're struggling in a little bit?
First, I might ask my classmate that I know, and like I might get help from people around me. And then from there, I go and ask my teacher, and then I try to go to tutoring as much as I can. And if I still don't get it, then if my tutoring is not really working, I come home and I ask my parents because they're a big help. So I ask my older sister sometimes because she's in college, so she's been through the same program I've been in. So it's a lot of help around here.
Love that answer. There's not a student athlete that shouldn't understand the key to success. You got to ask those that have been there and utilize your circle, mom and dad, sister and brother. I love hearing that, because a lot of kids that Laurent and I have interviewed, some of them just say, you know what, I just trying to just work harder. Well, that ain't gonna work in college. And the thing is, and Laurent, I want you to talk to this, is that and Michael, you probably will struggle in at least one class when you get to college. There's so much help and support for student athletes. There isn't a college that doesn't want their student athletes to be successful. I mean, there's tutoring services, things like that. But sometimes, Laurent, I can tell you here in a second, it's hard to get those kids to come, even when they know they need help. Laurent, talk a little bit about that experience.
Hey, 2 words: study hall. Like that is the thing that is the thing that it's any freshman, but even that's the thing. Only freshmen think they got to take it. Freshmen are required to be in study hall, but when you become a sophomore and a junior, the older you get. Now the thing about college is you always start with your basics, and you got to get to your basics to get to what you want to take. But it's just like any other thing, the older you get, the classes are going to get harder, especially when you get close to that degree. So, I mean, take advantage of the study hall that the coaches will have. There's always a writing center. There's always a tutor there. But the biggest deal that a lot of people don't understand is, man, every one of your coaches, and if you're at the college level, quality control guys, GAs, everybody has a degree. I guarantee you one of those coaches have a degree in what you're majoring in, and they just want you to ask them for help. And if you ask them for help and they physically cannot help you, they will find a way to set you up for somebody to help you. So, just never be scared to ask that, hey man, I need it. First thing first, I'd rather a kid come to me as the teacher and say, hey, you need help with this? Okay, let me figure out the best way to help you. Then I'm trying to figure it out on their own sometimes, because you struggled already. Let me help you not struggle anymore. That's kind of the way I look at it. Okay, let me figure out the best way to help you. Then I'm trying to figure it out on their own sometimes, because you struggled already. Let me help you not struggle anymore. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, makes sense. Michael, let's transition. You mentioned you go to your family, your mom and dad and your sister for help. Tell us about the Burroughs family. Tell us a little bit about what your mom and dad do for a living. Tell us about your siblings. Are you the only child? Well, you are the oldest? Are you the youngest? Give us a little bit about your family background.
My dad, he works in the surgical field, and my mom, she works in the teacher, like I think it was like the teacher field. So we have a good family. My sister, she's older. Let me start over. I got that completely wrong.
That's okay. I'll edit it out. Go ahead.
Specialist. Your dad is a surgical technician.
My dad works in a surgical technician, and my mom is an instructor. And let me start that over again.
Wait, Michael, let's do this. Because it'll make it easier for me to edit in my software. I'm just going to ask you the question again. Take a couple seconds to think about how you want to answer it. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about the Burroughs family. Tell us a little bit about your mom, your dad. You mentioned your sister earlier. What do they do for a living? And are you the youngest? Are you the baby, the oldest? Give us a little bit about the Burroughs family.
My dad is a surgical technician, and my mom is a teacher instructor. So we have a good family. My sister is older. She's 19. She goes to Prairie View, actually. And before she graduated, she was in the top 7% of her class. So she knows a lot. I'm the youngest, actually. And I have a little cousin. He's 8, right? Well, he's going to be 8 next month. Mm-hmm. And he's actually smart for his age. So we're all smart. We all work together. We spend a lot of quality time together. We go out, we go eat we have dinner parties at our house. We just do like stuff on the weekends that spend quality family time together.
Okay. What school did your parents go to?
Huh?
You know what school did your parents go to? Do you know?
Wayland Baptist. They both did.
Okay. Only reason I asked, he said his sister go to Prairie View A&M, and usually it's a traditional type thing. You know, my mom went, dad went there, so I'm gonna go there. So that's why I asked that.
Yeah, some of my other family members did, but my dad's not from down here, just my mom's side.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I like what you said earlier. You seem like you depend on your sister who's already been there. I have to ask, was she an athlete? Did she play volleyball, basketball, run track or anything, or is she just a student?
She played volleyball for 3 years. She was on varsity for ever since her sophomore year.
Okay. All right. So athleticism and academics were in the family. I love hearing that. You know, we know how much time you spend getting ready for the season, working out, and now we're in season. When you do have some free time, Michael, what do you like to do when you have some free time? Do you like to get outside, hunt, fish, get with your friends, video game? What do you do when you have free time?
Most of the time, me and my friend group, we spend time on the game. We spend a lot of time on the game, actually. And when we're not on the game, we normally go like play 7-on-7 or just do something fun, like go out to eat, go to somebody's house, watch a game or something. Just spend quality time together. So like we build a good bond. So when we all go away, we're still all close.
Okay. When you said game, you said watching games or you like video games? Which did you mean?
Both. We do both.
Okay. So I got to ask, which are you a Madden? Are you 2K or Call of Duty? Which game is yours?
I'm a 2K kind of guy.
I like it.
Okay. Then I guess the obvious question then, you giving L's, you taking L's?
Give L's. I never lose.
Okay. Well, LeRon, it's funny how all the athletes we interview, nobody's taking L's. So somebody's got to be losing out there, right?
That's okay, though. I don't think I want to hear anybody say they taking L's. You say you taking reconsider you being on the podcast. Like, I'm like, I want the winners on here. So I feel that. 100%.
It's good stuff. Hey, Michael, you know, most student athletes know today, recruiting is taking place on social media. Coaches are always looking at Twitter and Instagram. For these coaches who may not know you yet and haven't visited your social media, tell them what kind of message are you putting out there about yourself as a prospect on your social media channels?
On my Twitter, I kind of like, I want to make it seem like I'm just a great athlete all around, not just like I'm a quarterback, but I mean, I know I'm a quarterback, but I still can play anywhere on the field. I want them to see that I'm not just basically all about sports. I'm a family kind of guy. I like doing work in school. I'm a good friend. I play multiple sports, so I'm not just about football. I can get my baseball work out there. I'm not really active on Instagram because, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really just an Instagram guy, but Twitter, Snapchat, I just try to spread good vibes and put as much out there as I can that'll make it seem like I'm a good influence.
We're going to come back to that baseball question, but LeBron's going to ask you some questions here, kind of a speed round of questions here to get some feedback about you personally. Go ahead, LeBron.
Okay, so Coach Williams asked the first one. He asked you Madden or 2K, so you already said 2K to that. So I'm with that. I'm going to ask you a couple more. Let's see where your head is at. You cannot think about it. You got to just go on the fly. All right. Here we go. Superman versus Batman. Right. You hear me?
Oh, Batman.
Okay, perfect. Samsung versus iPhone.
iPhone.
Okay. Adidas and Nike.
Nike.
PlayStation, Xbox.
PlayStation.
NBA Finals or Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Marvel versus DC.
Marvel.
J. Cole or Kendrick?
Oh, J. Cole.
I like it. And that's the one right there. I think that gets a lot. Every time, the last time I ask that question, everybody sit back on it. That's a tough one.
Yeah. It's close. You can't go wrong with either one, really.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Well, hey, Michael, let me ask you this. You know, every football player dreams of playing in the NFL. Let's say you have 4 great years in college and you find yourself in New York City at the NFL draft. Who is sitting with you at your table waiting for the commissioner to call your name?
My mom, my dad, my little cousin, my sister, and the spirit of the rest of my family, because I can't list them all.
Okay. I like it. LeRon, you know what's funny? We asked a lot of athletes that question, and nobody says their girlfriend after what happened at last year with CeeDee
Hey, you can't do it. You can't do it.
That's funny.
Can't do it.
Well, Michael, you know, Judson's storied program, lots of support from the community there in Converse. Every athlete loves looking up and playing in front of a large crowd. I've been to many of your games. I was there at the Steel game a couple weeks ago. Great support from the community. But tell us, what are you doing to give back to the Converse community for all those people that support you on Friday nights and Saturdays?
I do a lot. Like when we have little charity events, my team, me and my team, we all try to go out and we try to like spread the love and know that people can always rely on us to do good things for the community. And that just because we give back to them and they give to us in the football team, which is very important to us. So like I do charity events. Sometimes we even donate like stuff that we don't even need to like Goodwill and like the little spots on like some of the roads that you could just put extra clothes in for people that come pick them up. So yeah, I'll do stuff like that.
Okay. Well, the biggest story, and it's a sad but a great story, obviously, in the Converse community, and Judson is Bryce Strong. Got a chance to get to know the young man. Tell us about the impact on the passing of his life that's had on the community, on the team. You guys are still, you know, showcasing him. He's part of every game. It looks like he's still on the team. Talk to us about your relationship with Bryce and what it means to you and how it drives you as a student athlete.
I met Bryce my freshman year, and he's a sophomore. I met him my freshman year, and he was a pretty chill dude. He hung out with Davion Wilson a lot, and I grew to be really close with Rashad actually. So like just growing up, I mean, hearing a lot of stuff from Rashad, I grew close with Bryce. So when Rashad left, we always looked out for Bryce, and hearing his story, it was sad at first, but he was a strong kid. He was always smiling every time he came to see us because he was not allowed to be at school sometimes. So when he came to see us, he always had a smile on his face, which meant a lot to us because we knew he wasn't going to give up. So every time we step on the field, it's always for Bryce, no matter what we do. In practice, it's for Bryce. Interviews are for Bryce. Media posts are for Bryce. We always try to stress that Bryce is always with us and he's always in our hearts. And like even talking about it, it's sometimes hard. Like when we're in a group, it's kind of hard because it's just like losing a brother basically. Mm-hmm. So like it's an impact on the community because like everybody always says Bryce Strong. Everybody knows who we play for and what we're about. So.
I appreciate you sharing that. I know that's personal, but it's a great story how he's still impacting lives, even though he's no longer with us. So shout out to the Wisdom family. And for those that don't know, his brother is a DB at UTSA and having a great year and just, you know, encompassing his little brother's spirit and having a great career there at UTSA. So appreciate that. Michael, one of my favorite questions in all these interviews is kind of this one. You know, football is going to come to an end one day. What do you want your life to look like personally and professionally when the game is over, whenever that is, whether it's after 10 years in the NFL, 10 years in Major League Baseball, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, or it's done after college? What do you want your life to look like?
I want to be a successful person. I want to have my own family, my own house, my own cars. I want to have a couple of dogs actually too. But yeah, just growing up, I've always dreamed of being like successful and just living my best life at all times. I know there's going to be some adversity doing and achieving my goals, but I'm ready for it all. I just want to be able to like live free and not having to have a lot of worries growing up and just living my own life.
Yeah, it's a great response. You know, LeRon and I talked to a lot of student athletes, and one thing we can attest to, especially me being the oldest guy on this podcast right now, the things that make you a great football player will also make you great in whatever career you decide. Tell these coaches who are going to watch this recording about how your football talent, how you plan to use that when the game is over and be either an entrepreneur or an engineer or a statistician or whatever you want to be.
I'm a good listener, so I use that on the field. But like when you choose like a degree or something you want to do when you grow up, listening is a key factor in what you want to do. So I plan on using my listening skills and applying it to my real life and everyday like lifestyle just so that I can achieve what I want to. So yeah, that's basically it. That's all.
No, it's a great response. And
no, I was like, you don't need no more.
Exactly. Well, Mike, you play quarterback. I'm going to transition here to the recruiting portion, but you play quarterback, and quarterback. Although I feel like being a linebacker is the quarterback of the defense. You got to know not just your role. You got to know blocking schemes, and the running back's going to be here, and the receivers, and the defense, and are they going to blitz? Are they in zone? Talk to us about how you process all that information before the ball is even snapped. A lot of people who don't understand all the things that go into being a quarterback, and you are mastering it as a junior. Talk to us about that mentality you have.
I always when I work out I normally work out with some of my quarterback coaches, some of my friends. So he always goes over what type of defenses we need to look for, looking at the safeties, then moving down and looking at what I need to see and before the snap even happens. And then when they transition, what I need to look for. So I use that going into the game. So when I'm in the game, before I even snap the ball, before I get ready, when the play's being called, I look for who's on the field, what they need to do, what they have to do, and where they need to be set up. And even if I need to change it or I need to move around, I always tell them, or I always it just clicks in my head because I've been there before. I've seen it, and watching a bunch of film and listening to my coaches saying be an athlete, you might have to make a play. It always just comes into effect and it happens real quick.
I like it. The quarterback position is very similar to a CEO. You have to know a lot of different positions, and I think you definitely got the talent and the experience that will lead you to being very successful in whatever business you're in down the road. As we switch to recruiting a little bit, you mentioned it earlier. You're a pretty good baseball player too. Is baseball part of your future? I mean, could you see yourself playing maybe football and baseball in college? Are you interested in that aspect at all?
Yes, I really hope so. I get an opportunity to play both in college. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, tell us about baseball. As a father, so I played baseball, but I have a son. One of my sons played football at Texas that could have got drafted in Major League Baseball. My other son played baseball at Arizona State and got his degree. Could have played football also, went in the draft. Do you have a preference? Does it matter to you? And tell me about what position you play.
I play shortstop, I play center, and I pitch most of the time. I normally hit first or second due to my speed, but I have a lot of power. I ain't gonna lie about that one. But it doesn't. I don't really have a preference for baseball or football. I love both of the sports, so I take both of them seriously. So when it's baseball season, I'm all locked into baseball. When it's football season, I'm locked into football.
Are you
LaRon, you seen the trend here, LaRon? He's a quarterback in football, shortstop and pitcher. Does this kid just not bleed leadership or what?
Man, I'm telling you, that's all I want. That's my question was. Were you born in San Antonio, born and raised, or did y'all move to San Antonio?
Oh, I was born and raised in San Antonio.
Okay, so I mean, that's a big deal. That dual to get a dual scholarship, man. Truth be told, college coaches would love something like that because they're splitting the money. So that helps you 100%. My question is, so you're born and raised in San Antonio. Are you hoping that you get to stay close to that area if you get the opportunity, or when you get the opportunity to play at the next level? Are you hoping to stay in that area, or you see yourself getting out of the state of Texas a little bit?
It doesn't really matter to me. I'm open to play anywhere around the United States, so I'm open to any place, anywhere.
I like it.
Okay. Michael, so obviously you got good size. You're obviously athletic. You're playing baseball and football. Are there any other sports? Are you a basketball guy too, and track, or you just do football and baseball?
I did basketball and track in my freshman year, but I lost the love for basketball growing up because I just wasn't enjoying it. So, but I always do track, but track runs into baseball season, so baseball is always the bigger picture.
So you coaches that are watching, just to outline here, Michael was really a four-sport athlete. Played football, basketball, baseball, and track. I can tell you, Michael, my oldest son, Aaron, did the same thing, and he ended up in the NFL. So, just saying that is a strong resume that you're putting out there right now. Tell us, is there a certain quarterback that you pattern your game off of at the college or pro level?
At the college level, I like Trevor Lawrence. Okay. And then on the pro level, I really look up to Russell Wilson because the Seahawks are my team. So I just rock with him until the wheels fall off.
That's a good one to look up to, man. He's a heck of a dude. Yes, I don't know personally or nothing, but he's a heck of a guy.
Yeah. Well, Michael, the quarterback position is all about leadership. Look in the camera and tell these coaches, how do you define leadership and how do you lead your team each week for Judson Rockets?
The way I define leadership is somebody that can be counted on, and no matter the situation, and everybody looks up to, no matter what it is, what's called on. So me being a leader for my team, I step up a lot coming up from last year being a backup. So like me, I always try to encourage people who don't have the opportunity that I have right now to never give up, and always when they get in the game to give it their best and give it to all, as they are having their chance right now, because people are always watching no matter what you're doing. And so like I always encourage people. I always try to pick people up. Sometimes I get frustrated, but that's normal. So like, I mean, I'm a good influence for the team, and we all work together just to keep good vibes on the team and like try to slow down the commotion when people get in arguments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that. It's a great answer. That's what you should be doing as a leader. A couple last questions and we'll finish up here. But the one thing I did want to ask you is about, the recruiting process. You're in your junior year. Tell us about your journey. Who have you heard from? Who do you want to hear from? And what's been your recruiting experience so far?
I've had a couple coaches follow me from actually UIW and UTSA. Besides that, it's early in the year, so I really haven't heard anything from any of the coaches. But I have heard that a lot of coaches have been looking out for me and have heard my name. So I'm just waiting patiently for like when it's my turn to be called up.
You just used the most important word, Laurent. I want you to talk to this. The most important word when it comes to recruiting: patience.
That's
Everybody's
right.
recruiting timeline is going to be different. You got guys who are offered as sophomores. Some guys are going to be offered until after the season. So I love that you understand that already, that everybody's path and journey is going to be a little different. Some guys a little faster, some guys a little slower. But Laurent, talk about that a little bit, how the different recruiting times for recruiting an athlete.
And that's true because you got to think about it, man. So, you said UIW and you said UTSA. So you just picked out two San Antonio schools, right? And, one thing people got to understand, so being at UIW, speaking for FCS programs in general, of course, their money is different from an FBS money, just like it's different from a D2 money. So, while in a UT or, an A&M or anything you want to say, heck, even a UNT, they can offer you as a junior right then and there. But versus our FCS, they have to wait a little bit because their money's not the same. So they really can't recruit that junior, that class of 22, like they can recruit that class of 21. And they have to, their mentality is totally different. Like if I see a kid that is a class of 22 who's really, really good, well, like I said, recruiting is just like taking a girl to the prom. I mean, nobody wants you until somebody else got you. So the thing is like, if I see that kid, okay, I grabbed this kid right here as an FCS program. Well, now that this kid's name is out there, that's what lets the other programs see you. And I know an FBS is going to beat me out as an FCS any day, most of the time, because most kids want to go to that bigger program. And so patience is huge. Man, because I can guarantee you, I know for sure UIW is looking at you. I probably know the coach that followed you on Twitter 100%. But I can tell right now, he might reach out a little bit, but you would hear from him and you wouldn't hear from him until probably your senior year because we have to play the game differently. So just be patient on it for sure, man, because every program, it all comes down to dollar bills. We all know that money makes the world go around. So every program, so just stay patient on it, bro. It's gonna come.
So Michael, let's finish up the interview with what we call the elevator pitch. Take 30 seconds and look in the camera and tell these college coaches why they should recruit you and what you're going to bring to their program.
I believe you guys should recruit me because I'm a great student, I'm a great athlete, and I'm a great two-sport player, and I'm great in the classroom. I take what I do very seriously. I take my future seriously, and I'm a great family person. I love spending time with my family, and I just want to thank you guys for giving me a chance and an opportunity to sit here and talk to you guys so that y'all can have my best interest in my future. And yeah, just thank you guys.
No, that's very strong, Michael. I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward. I've watched you play, and I got to say this. I watched you play your first game of the season against DeSoto. I know it didn't go your way, But just like this interview started a little bit rocky, and just like your season, you're a different guy at the end of this interview than you were in the beginning. You did a really good job, and it goes to what I saw. A little shaky start against DeSoto, very good school, but every game since then, you have gotten better. And I know you're just going to continue to go up and to the right with your field, with your play on the field and your academics. We will definitely get this recorded out in front of coaches. I would definitely say that you need to share it too. Let this coach know who you are as a person, because that's as important as your huddle video. For Coach Haywood and I, man, we thank you. If you ever need anything, reach out to us. And I know I'll be seeing you at a game here pretty soon in the playoffs, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
appreciate it, man.
Mike.
Thanks.